Good evening. I'm Renee Powell with Oklahoma Family Network. Welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. Tonight, we are very fortunate to have Jen Randle, Executive Director of the Developmental Disabilities Council of Oklahoma. Jennifer completed her master's degree in education from the University of Kansas and has a certificate in competitive integrated employment for people with significant disabilities from Utah State University. She was a special education teacher for 14 years in the Oklahoma City area and has coordinated the Oklahoma Youth Leadership Forum since 2008. Now she is the executive director of the Developmental Disabilities Council of Oklahoma, a partner agency of the University Center for Excellence, Center for Learning and Leadership, funded by the U.S. Administration for Developmental Disabilities. She's proud to be an Oklahoma Partners in Policy Making graduate, a credentialed person-centered thinking trainer, and life course ambassador. Jen's good life includes hanging out with her family and friends, teaching, reading, watching sports, playing video games, and writing science fiction. So I'm just so glad that you took time to be with us tonight, all of you who are here, and thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to turn off my audio and you share your screen.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It's awesome to be here. Love the Oklahoma Family Network. Our council loves the work they do, and we love to partner with each other. And it's fun to be here with you guys. So, yes, I'm a sports fan. While I'm trying to get my PowerPoint, my favorite team is football. Well, we're not very good. We had the first draft pick, if that tells you anything. Yay. But yeah, I'm a Raider fan. Um, let's get back up here. This is kind of a fun PowerPoint because I originally made this PowerPoint and then I gave it to one of my colleagues and I was like, hey, what do you think of this? Can you pretty it up? And I didn't know exactly what I'd get. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna give her all my PowerPoints. Just don't tell Alyssa I said that because I don't need her to know yet. Um, but yeah, she did a great job. We took this picture. This is the Developmental Disabilities Council in front of you. We're not a very small crew. There's five of us. And as we work through the PowerPoint about who we are, what we do, some of the work that we do, I'll introduce you to these guys. But the man in front, Bradley Mays, Dr. Bradley Mays, coordinates our Partners in Policy Making program and our Youth Leadership Forum that we'll talk about. The woman to the right of Brad is Morgan Davis, who it's been really fun to see Morgan, I guess, kind of grow up because I got to meet Morgan when she first went through our Youth Leadership Forum. Then I get to be her colleague and partners in policy making. I saw her serve on the council, and now she works for the council. So it's awesome. And then the person behind Morgan, I'm just gonna going, I guess, counterclockwise, aren't I? In the white shirt is Jennifer Robinson, and she's our grants and planning manager. So she helps really monitor our work, all our contracts that we have. And then the person in the middle is Alyssa Patterson, who is our marketing and outreach, handles a lot of the communications, things like that. Um, so. I always leave this slide in. I thought even though I'm going to talk about the council, I'm still going to put that in. So that way when you get the PowerPoint um, that we can send to you, you'll kind of have that a lot easier. Um, so some of the advocacy work and other projects that we do, I guess maybe on a one page real quick snapshot. We will talk about partners in policy making. We'll talk about the Youth Leadership Forum and we'll talk about our self-advocacy trainings. Those three things are really big things that we do in regards to our advocacy work. Um, and self-advocacy really about building capacity in Oklahoma so that we can change systems. And we can't do it without our family members. We can't do it without people with disabilities. And so it's really all about just building that capacity so that we can change policy. Then we do all sorts of trainings like this one. We can talk a lot about person-centered thinking, charting the life course, which I know Oklahoma Family Network does a lot of that work. Disability etiquette, respectful communication, things like that. We can really kind of tailor whatever you guys would want to, for your business or organizations. We can just kind of get what you need. And then program funding. So as well as hopefully you'll learn, we do program funding for, if you think about it as kind of like a seed project. So we want to help get things going. And so we'll partner with different organizations to help things start. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Tech Now, which is a really cool high school program that is, I think it's the high schools that it's in, it's electives for students with special education services, and they learn work skills centered around desktop publishing. And so they'll learn through a software called Corel Draw, which is much like, probably like Canva, only it's probably got a lot more bells and whistles. I like Canva because I don't understand all that, or Adobe, things like that. But they'll learn all those skills. Um, Tech Now was one of originally started with money from the council. Now it's we get to partner, but we're really not funding it anymore. And that's really our dream. We want to get things started and let it go, let it thrive. Um, we also do, I just kind of listed some of our projects. Sometimes we've worked to help host the Transition Institute. And we've worked a lot with early access autism screenings and developmental disability screenings. And that's through the Oklahoma Autism Center, Sooner Success, and their SID shops, as well as hopefully all you have been able to hear about and participate in Sooner Success's caregiver retreats. But that's something that we also work with them on. And then probably one of my favorite, besides YLF, is Dream Night at the Zoo, which, oh my goodness, I love me some Dream Night. So I'm gonna have to give a plug for it because if y'all don't know about Dream Night, please come and hang out with us. Originally, Dream Night started the first Friday night in June, which it's the first Friday night in June all across the world. Zoos will open up their zoo for families who have a child with a disability or special health care need. And we approached the Oklahoma City Zoo one year. It's been many years now that we've worked with them to do it. And they were all in. And so, really, what it's about is the zoo provides admissions for the whole family to the Oklahoma City Zoo on one night. They provide, so it's like 4 to 8 p.m. They provide a meal while they're there. Um, all the rides, the tram are free. I've heard stories that there's some people they just like to ride the tram and that's all they do at night, and that's okay because it's their night. Um, they all the games are free. They can get their picture taken at one of their photo booths. It really is just a night just to have fun. When COVID hit, it was in that springtime, and we didn't know should we do it in June, what was going on. So they still did it, but they moved it to September. And then it turns out we kind of like it in the fall or starting the fall because it's really hot in June. So we've tried September, we tried October, then we moved back to September. I'm not sure when we'll do it this year, but it'll be one of those months I feel confident in saying. Um, we if you've never been and you're like, oh, this sounds great, you won't ever see it marketing. But what you can do is, we'll definitely, I think my email is in here, or we'll put my email in there. If you will email me or Alyssa Patterson and just say, can you add my address to the mailing list? And I know that sounds really antique nowadays, but we'll have a card that we'll send out to everybody on our list, our Dream Night list, and it will have all the RSVP information. Usually it's a link you'll get on that card. Um, and then you'll RSVP, and that's all you have to do. You'll come and have a good time. So, really, if you've not been there, check it out. So, more on, I did this specifically for partners. Oops. And so it's it should be a little bit more broad than just partners. And I just realized I forgot to change it at the bottom. Sorry. The council works to really make Oklahoma a place where everyone, it doesn't matter if you have a developmental disability, whatever, and it's in our mission. We want everyone to be able to live, learn, work, and play wherever they choose. And that's what it's about. So we're really working on finding projects that help us do that. Um, and we want you to attend partners, and we want your young people to attend the Youth Leadership Forum or our self-advocacy trainings because that's what it's about. And we need you guys there so that we can get everybody together and go change systems. So kind of a background. I don't know, a lot of times people don't really know a lot about why we're here, why councils are exist, but it's really kind of fun to think that there is one of, I guess, us, there's a DD council in every single state and territory. So there's 56 of us. If you were to move somewhere, definitely look us up because we all do some amazing work. Again, we're all doing something to build capacity, change systems, right? But we all have different projects however, for our state. Um, we're all here through a federal legislation that's called the Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act. Usually I shortcut that and just say the DD Act. And that really, the DD Act just helps put us here. We're all about wanting to put our families and people with developmental disabilities in leadership roles because without our family members, without people with developmental disabilities, we can't change systems. We have to have the lived experience. You guys are the experts. And without you guys, we can't really exist. And I forgot to tell you when I first started, if there's a question, please put it in chat or you can come off mute, um, whatever's best for you. But I would rather just have a conversation. So let us know, um, or let me know. Um, so the three big responsibilities, and I've kind of said that, advocacy, systems change, and capacity building. That's really what we're designed to do. It's kind of fun because I get to say, no, no, I get federal legislation to advocate. Now that's different than lobbying, but I get to go educate people on what's happening, what's the issues, what are the fears. And what's even more fun is I can drag my family members and my people with developmental disabilities with me because they're the experts, they're living it. So that legislators or policymakers, whether that's a mayor or a principal, could be a teacher if it's in their classroom. It could be a neighborhood association board. They're all policymakers, just like we're policymakers within our own home, if you think of it that way. But we need you guys to help us change that system. So, who leads the council? Again, I feel kind of honored to be here with it because I don't know of another board that has our makeup. That first highlight, that first point that says at least 60% of our board members are either people with developmental disabilities or a family member. It's not a professional, 60%. It's not, a legislator or a policymaker. No, no, no. Again, it goes back to that lived experience. And we're mandated, it's in our legislation. We have to have 60% of our board members on our board. And every one of our board members are governor appointed. So hopefully what I say today makes you go, I want to be on y'all's board because we'd love to have you. Um, Lived experience guides our decisions, as I've said. We work with all sorts of groups. We work with agencies. We work with DDS every day. We work with our contractors, different organizations, and community partners. I'm really, really excited. We've tried really hard these past 5 years to really create partnerships for our work with organizations that we've never. I, I have to be honest. There's some I was like, I don't know who this is, and it makes me really happy to see. Not that I don't like our work. I love partnering with all the contracts that we have, but like we got a request from, and see now it's going to go out my head. We got, I'll look it up afterwards when I'm not sharing and I can find it. Because they're going to talk about it Friday. We got a really neat request from kind of a park area in Oklahoma that wants to be more accessible and have some sensory room in their area so that they can welcome everyone. And I was just like, this is so cool. You know, we did some work with the Lawton Museum, which is really fun. If you guys haven't been there, check it out. It's really interactive. So some of the things that we do in Oklahoma, um, our youth leadership forum that we'll talk about here in a minute. We do a lot of different innovative projects, and we're always seeking for those projects. Our partners in policymaking, which we will talk about. We work with partners to just improve education, employment, and then our self-advocacy trainings that we'll talk about. So our youth leadership forum and I could talk about this for days because it's like honestly probably one of my favorites. It's as when she read my bio, I was like, oh, it was so cool. It was the highlight when I stopped teaching. I love teaching, but when they asked me to come to coordinate the youth leadership forum, I'm also a summer camp person. I worked at summer camp since 1989. I did years before that at Girl Scout camp, but really in 1989, I went out of state to work for a camp. And since then, it's been all summer camp during the summer. And so the Youth Leadership Forum was really, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a 5-day leadership camp for high school students in Oklahoma with disabilities. Doesn't matter what disability. For Youth Leadership Forum, we use the ADA's definition. So that kind of opens up that the criteria a little bit more than just developmental disabilities. Um, the reason why we do that is we try to stay as true and close to the original model that started in California. There's about 20 or so different youth leadership forums around the United States. And we're really just, it's about helping students start thinking about life after high school. It's for 9th through 12th grade, including outgoing seniors. Um, and give or take, I know Project Cert, sometimes they're 21, but they're, oh, what's the term that schools are using? Um, senior, uh, it's a new term that they're kind of using for when they're in that transition period. So call us. If you're kind of like, I don't know, but I think this will be great, just call. Well, if we can do it, we'll probably do it because we want to help our students really start thinking about that. Um, we bring in some really cool speakers from out of state as well as in state and try to really develop our youth and let them meet and learn from adults with disabilities. We do have teachers from Oklahoma. I kind of think they're probably the best teachers in Oklahoma ever. Um, they're extraordinary at what they do, and they help the magic of YLF um, every year. Every year at the end of the week, I look around and I'm like, dude, I missed the point that it happened. Because every year in 5 days, you would not believe the magic. It is absolutely amazing to see these young people come in, some scared to death, sometimes coming and staying on a college campus, and then watching your mom and dad leave. And sometimes it's hard for the mom and dad too. But sometimes that's kind of that first initial, I guess, shock. Um, and sometimes they're calling, mom the first night, then the second night. And then we've had moms or dads say, I didn't hear from them after the second night. I was pretty sure they were still alive. So, um, but the activities that we do, team collaborative games where they're really working together, learning from our folks that we bring in that also have a disability, but and our teachers help guide it. But half of our staff are our graduates of our program because really there's no better teacher. Absolutely, we have to have people there. Again, it's kind of with the council. We have to have our lived experience and the same thing. We want to make sure that leadership is there of people with the lived experience. And with that, so we've got our youth leadership forum on one end. And actually here, I'll pose a quiz for everyone. So if you'll look on that left side of the slide that has the youth leadership forum logo, there is a hidden message in that logo. Can anyone, I'm going to take a drink while you guys see if you can find it. And you can either come off mute or you can type it in chat.
You lead for you.
Bam. Exactly. That's really that that's what camp is. It's all about helping them figure out how to lead for themselves. Um, and how to kind of know what's what they can do, how to make decisions, and that it's okay. I mean, we go to the Capitol. We'll do a mock debate in the House chamber. We'll meet with legislators. Um, we have a formal dinner the last night. And what's really fun with the formal dinner, so we call it a formal dinner because the place, all the tables are set formally. We don't care what they wear. Some will dress up, some will wear their shorts and their camp shirt. That's fine. But our keynote for our dinner teaches us etiquette throughout the meal. And it is the best time. And she answers any question. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to this fancy formal dinners, I'm like, now I have to pull out of my head, okay, what did Carrie Sue? Oh, yeah. If you ever sit down and you're like, which glass is mine? Just do this and figure out your B on that side, that's your bread plate. So your bread plate's on this side, and your D, that's your drink. So your drink's over here. Best trick ever. And I've shared that with people too at formal dinners. So just really it's about giving them the confidence and knowing that they can do it. And then our self-advocacy trainings on the other side. We have 5 different curriculums. Let's see if I can name them off the top of my head. We have SALT, which is self-advocacy leadership training. We have emergency preparedness. We have taking care of your health, disability etiquette, sexuality and wellness, or health and wellness. I think I'm still missing one. Maybe it's 6. I'm going to have to look. Sorry. It's on our website. But all of these trainings have been created supporting adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities. They've created them. They're also the trainers. And so you can learn from them. Now, every Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, they're going to do one of their trainings. Like I think this Friday it's self-advocacy leadership training part 2, because some of the trainings are large, so they break it up. And so you'll learn from those who are living it, and they'll talk about self-advocacy and leadership, and you'll get to hear stories that they have. We're going to add in a new one that's, I guess, it's sort of like a TED Talk. I think we're calling it Learn from the Experts. And it's gonna be a surprise to everyone because so then they get to pick the topic. And a young man, Bryce Wooten, he's gonna share about, I think one of his topics is about he's a life coach, as well as what he got his bachelor's in. And so you can come and just hear from Bryce about how did you get your degree? It was hard. Again, it's all about listening to those experts. I'm really excited about this one. It's kind of new. We haven't kicked it off yet, but I believe it's at the end of this month. And then Partners in Policymaking is our 7 weekend disability advocacy training from September to April. So don't think it's back to back. Don't leave yet. But it's from September to April, and we meet Friday night and all day Saturday. And really, we just bring in the best speakers to really help us all think and talk about issues along kind of that lifespan and about disability. and help us kind of understand that and how do we advocate for that. We will talk about different topics like charting the life course and person-centered planning. We'll talk about education and universal design. We'll talk about social capital and community, employment, Social Security and Medicaid and the work incentives. We'll talk about legislation and how do you change policy. And how do you, again, it goes back to kind of that big name partners, creating that partnership with your policymaker. So we will kind of assign some homework, such as you might have to interview a policymaker that you have. So one of your state rep, or your state senator, or you can interview your federal folks, your federal rep, or one of our senators. But it's all about just getting to know who they are, so that you can talk to them and help them understand your issues. Um, so within that, we will do a mock legislative testimony. I was checking the time, sorry. Um, all of our students will be divided up into groups. And so each group will have a bill, and you can choose. So we don't just randomly say, here's your bill. You'll get to pick three, and then we try to match you up as best we can. You'll go and you'll present your stories, um, based on your group. So this last weekend was a lot of fun. That was our mock testimony, and they went to the Capitol, and we had 5 groups that discussed 5 current bills happening right now, um, and gave what they thought. Their assignment was either ask the legislators to vote no, vote yes, or maybe amend it. Vote yes, but we would like to see amend it, and explain kind of the amendments that they would like. And the legislators asked them a lot of questions. It was really a lot of fun. I'm going to stop for a minute and see if Beth or Carrie, if you wanted to just share quickly about maybe your experience.
This is Beth. I'm happy to share. Um, the interesting thing to me when I did Partners in Policymaking was that, I went in there having a child who was 15, 16 years old, and I went as a result of him going to YLF. So I had already had multiple years of this, and I thought, oh, I could pick up some things. You can always learn more. And I got there and realized very quickly I didn't know what I didn't know. And that was that, I had a very specific disability that my child had, but not understanding the history, not understanding how to actually advocate on a higher level for him and for others, that I had a voice and that I don't mind public speaking. And so it was very empowering. The other thing too is that you connected with other people that were also in that same boat, but also to realize that not everybody who has a disability or who has a family member with a disability wanted the same thing for their loved one. So whereas I might be pushing for something related to work, you've got a whole bunch of parents that their concern is more school based or living based. So it was just a real eye-opening experience of what I would be able to do and then how to do it.
Cool. Awesome. Carrie, you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't have to put you on the spot because you didn't know, you thought you were just coming on. So I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to. I think we have,
My phone won't unmute. The first thing is I want to gush about YLF. I also did PIP after my son did YLF, and it was an incredible turning point for him. He went from an individual that uh, he still hated school afterwards, but he didn't feel like he had to fear school anymore. He became a very fierce advocate for himself, and he considered anything he did to advocate for himself to be advocating for others. And so he learned his rights and he stated them and did not put up with people violating them anymore. And it was I saw him do his due in different situations and was just mesmerized by it. And so I had to join Pip to get that boost that he got of learning how to advocate. I loved the mock legislation that really showed it showed my that I had something in myself that I didn't know I had. That I just was really thrilled about it, and actually thought I was going to after all of this legislate. But that wasn't in the cards for me. But what it did do was I was able to take those skills I learned for the at the state level, and I'm using it at the city level.
Yep.
And I'm part of several city-wide initiatives.
Awesome. Very cool. Hopefully, I see the chat going up. Is there any comments in chat? Thank you, Beth and Carrie.
There have not been any comments in the chat.
Okay.
I actually had a question. What is the difference between the definition of someone with developmental disabilities versus the ADA definition of someone with a disability?
Goodness, I would have to look it up again just because I get lazy and I forget. A big part of it is age of when it's identified. Um, and so because ADA is so much more broad. If you're thinking like for YLF, a lot of times people say, well, are they on they're on an IEP, would they qualify? Yes. But if they're on a 504, they would also qualify. If they're not on a 504, they would qualify if they have things like, I mean, under ADA, um, you could have accommodations, such as I think there's sometimes, if I remember right, some types of cancer, but it goes to like if it limits functionality in so many areas, which developmental disabilities has that as well, but a big part of it is that age of eligibility. So,
Okay.
do you have a young one for YLF?
Um, you know what YLF is ninth through 12th grade.
Yep, and
Um,
outgoing seniors.
yeah, I have a ninth grader. He uh, actually just got a diagnosis of hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos.
Hmm.
But he's not on a 504 or on, I was working to get him on a 504 for anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Um, but his teachers accommodated, I talked to each of the
Oh,
teachers and they
well done.
accommodated him in that because he had gone from a very small hybrid school setting
Hmm.
into Bartlesville High School. And his teachers were so understanding and he's to the point where he feels more comfortable taking exams in front of other people. But you know that, he's the kind of kid who is someone who studies very hard. But when he saw all these people turning in their tests before him, it's just like his mind went blank. So
Yeah.
I guess I do have some, I mean, that's what my ninth grader is, if that would qualify
Yep.
for,
Oh, yeah. And did
okay.
I hear you say Bartlesville?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Mays, Bradley Mays is from Bartlesville. So
Ah,
I know if you were to apply and he sees that, I mean, he's gonna be like stoked. So
okay.
I don't know if they've lived there for years and then they moved to Kingfisher.
Okay.
But yeah, Mays. He's absolutely
MAYS.
amazing. Yep, absolutely amazing. So, there is an application for YLF just as partners. I try, especially students I don't want them to kind of go, oh no, I can't do essay, I'm out. We don't care how we get our answers. If you want to do a video, especially with smartphones, do a video and just email that to us. Um, if it's like if you were to print the application out, I think the directions say no longer than 3 pages. I've had one or two sentences for each before. We're not going to say, nope, that doesn't qualify. We just want to hear a little bit about what they're thinking, thinking, sorry. Um, so don't think, oh no, they can't do this. Yeah, they can. I had a young man call me once, and he was flustered because he didn't know how to write an essay. And so I basically asked him the questions. He told me the answers, and while he was telling me, I typed the answers. Then I emailed him what I typed up to make sure, is that right? Did I capture it? And then he emailed back and said yes. Then when he applied to come back as a staff member, we had an essay question. He wrote it himself. So I'm not saying that everyone will do that, but that's where he was like, okay, I can do this, you know. Um, so please don't look at it and go, we'll work, call me, I'll write it for him, I'll write what he says, or just write what he says. You can. Um, we just want to be able to have them at camp and have a good time and talk about life.
When did you mention when it was for
Oh, I did not.
2026 or where where
So
um
it's this year, it'll be June 9th to the 13th. So it's a Tuesday to Saturday. We changed it Tuesday to Saturday so that we do kind of have a graduation and a reception at the end. One of our speakers, he'll give his story at the end. And so we thought, well, we want to make sure parents can be there, and so moved it to Saturday to end on.
mm,
So June 9th to the 13th. And it'll
and
be in Chickasha
okay.
at the college, the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma. We've always been there. We've kind of looked around at different colleges. But to be honest, when I went and looked at the other colleges that we've looked at have been really great, but they did not give me, when I was doing it, they didn't give me the same, I don't know how else to call it except vibe, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice it. So we kept it at USAO. So
Um, how many students are what's your capacity for the camp?
we try about 25.
Okay. How many applications do you typically get?
Um, Sometimes we can get up to 30. We don't have that many right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Is
the
there
best.
a
Oh, go ahead.
deadline?
Right now, no.
Okay.
And any year, don't. I try to tell people, just call.
Okay.
If you're like, oh, or even if you're like, we're almost done, just call. And
Okay.
if we can do it, again, it's about if we can get them in, let's get them in. You
Okay.
know?
Thank you.
And one of the cool parts is because we really want to build that capacity so that our young people and our adults and partners and our self advocates and our self advocacy trainings, there's no cost for any of those trainings.
Mm,
And I guess I didn't say, I kind of did when I said the DD Act, that's why we're here. And that is a federal grant. It's there's a different, each state gets a different amount. Oklahoma every year, knock on wood quick, guys, we get about, it's a little under $1 million that we usually get every year. And so we try to be real careful on obviously because it's taxpayer money on what we're doing with it. Um, but why I feel like we get a lot of good from YLF, the partners in policymaking, and our self-advocacy trainings. And definitely encourage you guys to check it out on Fridays. Our trainers are amazing. They have some great stories. I don't know what time is it.
It's 6:43. You have time.
So this video, okay, we'll try it. We'll see. So this is our youth leadership forum video. I don't know what the volume's at, so I'm just going to tell you a warning on maybe be ready to adjust your volume at home. So, because I don't know if it's going to blur you out. How's that? And then I will, as quickly as I can, adjust it on the YouTube volume. Okay? Deal? All right, let's do this.
YLF, Oklahoma's Youth Leadership Forum, is the opportunity of a lifetime for high school juniors and seniors with disabilities. If you are selected to go to YLF, you'll experience a week on a college campus. Hear from speakers like yourself who are YLF graduates and who live well-rounded and vitally productive lives. Spend a full day at the state capitol, meeting with leaders and taking part in a mock debate of the legislature. And you'll make new friends and become part of a nationwide family of YLF graduates. So don't miss out. YLF will change your life. YLF is a great opportunity for students in Oklahoma with disabilities to get the skills and the tools they need to become a leader in their communities and their schools.
YLF is a great place to go and good place to learn, and then you get to meet also all these interesting people. After that, you'll just be a great leader, or you'll have other choices. You'll just have a great experience.
The best part of YLF is probably seeing kids come in at the beginning of the week being really shy and unsure of themselves, and then when they leave on Saturday, they're like a whole new confident person. So that's really neat to see.
You, as an individual, grow and you learn more about your disability and how you can help others with disabilities.
To know that I wasn't the only kid that was dyslexic, that there are other ones out there. Maybe I could share something about that later on in life.
I decided to attend because I hope to gain leadership skills, self-advocacy, just make new friends and kind of know what's happening with disability movements and stuff like that.
When you go to YLF, you'll make lots of new friends. You'll become part of a national network of YLF grads, all eager to help you succeed. You can count on them to answer questions and be there for you as you reach your educational and career goals.
The people here are amazing. They're very supportive. I mean, they will help you with anything. And it doesn't just end with YLF. It lasts years and years. And they're always ready to help. They're just amazing.
Knowing there's a huge family that supports you in any decision you make, that they're always going to be there to push you a little step further than what you think you can go, that you're always going to have that lifelong friendship with everyone here.
YLF presents an amazing opportunity for youth with disabilities.
I think you should go. I think it would really benefit you, and it would make you see things that you would never even imagine of thinking of, you know? It's just, it'll really change your whole perspective on things.
YLF is funded by the Oklahoma Developmental Disabilities Council, so it's totally free. The council also takes care of any support you may need for an awesome week. Sound like fun? Here's what you need to do. First, go to our website at okddc.ok.gov. Click on Youth Leadership Forum for more information about YLF and how to apply. If the phone works better for you than the internet, just call us at 405-521-4984. If you're outside Oklahoma City, you can call for free at 1-800-836-4470.
I would say you have to go. It's a great experience.
So that's YLF. Are you convinced yet?
I hope.
Jen, one thing I will say about the YLF from my son's standpoint is because I signed him up thinking that it was going to be a break for mom and dad, you know, just get him to do something different, get him to do camp. And so I was really nervous when I dropped him off thinking, oh my gosh, I'm dropping him off. How is he going to do with this? And I was really nervous. And then fast forward to the end where not only did he pick things up and he was able to do things that I wouldn't have thought he was able to do, but also it gave me an idea that he could do things that I didn't realize he could because I had let him go.
Right.
So it was kind of a learning experience for me as a parent too, to be like, how does he do when he's on his own and none of us are a safety net?
Yeah. And it's safe. That's what we want. We want to have a safe place for them to try. So that's awesome. Oh, I need to get you guys to write those down for me.
Yeah, for Connor, what was the biggest thing was that he was able to relax for the first time in his life. He knew every single person there was there with the same experience and wanted him to have a positive experience. There was no fighting. It was, his first night when he couldn't sleep, I get a phone call and I'm like, oh no. And it's like, okay, how can we help him sleep? He wasn't sure what he needed. He needs, oh, well, we can make that happen. We can do that. That's no big deal. And then it was after that it was, you know, they knew what he needed. He didn't know how to fix his hair. That's okay. A little girl fixed it for him, It was
Exactly. Exactly. And I think some of that is, I mean, I feel like sometimes in school we're really, I guess bad. I don't know if that's the right word. At saying, gotta be independent, gotta be independent, gotta be independent. And we forget, you just gotta, how do you ask someone for help? And sometimes that's probably the hardest thing, right? So, hey, fix my hair for me, right? I think, because I think this one's only like 4 minutes too. What do you,
Very, very quick, Jen, there was a
Mhm.
question in
Oh,
the
yeah.
chat of regarding disability rights. They asked, how do we learn all of the rights that the folks with disabilities have?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, we have counsel. That's what I was going to say. I don't know. Let me go through the slides, and then when we get done, we can always come back. So, I need to change the slide because I just changed their name. One place that can help you with understanding more rights is our protection and advocacy, or down below it says Disability Law Center. Um, Now they've changed the name to Disability Rights Oklahoma. They've been working on that for a little while, and they finally got everything switched over. But there's one in every state, and that is Oklahoma's Protection and Advocacy Center. So they can help you really if you're not sure, um, well, can I do that? Or you can call us and we can research it. Um, there's all sorts of webinars that are out there that you can jump on. I know we have a weekly email that we've started putting out, and a lot of times, like this week, it had a ton of different trainings that you could take, and some of those are about disability rights. I don't know if I'm answering your question very well. Um, Sometimes we have to research it and see, well, what can we, what really does the law say? And how do we, if we need to change it, how do we change that policy? Does that make sense at all? Does that help at all? I hope.
Tasha, did that answer your question? I know we lost some folks due to the tornado, but it looks like Tasha's still
Oh
on.
no.
I guess they're going off and the the cell was by Mustang, so
Oh no.
no, but
Just
yeah,
sent one of
I
my colleagues to Yukon.
oh no, I know. Okay,
Okay.
there.
So,
Oh, she said yes. Tasha says
okay.
yes. Thank you. That was
Okay.
helpful.
So our DD network partners, they're kind of our network partners because we all are here from the DD Act, and all get funding from the DD Act. So us, and then the USAID, or here in Oklahoma, there's at least one USAID in every state. There sometimes states have more than one. I believe Texas has two. So sometimes states have more than one. But the USAIDs are kind of like the research and training areas. In Oklahoma, they're called, you can, on that site, it says CLL, and they're your Center for Learning and Leadership. And then again, the Disability Rights Oklahoma, or on the slide, Oklahoma Disability Law Center, are protection and advocacy. I always think of them as kind of your attorneys, your free disability attorneys. They won't do criminal cases, but they can help with civil cases. And then the Redlands partners are actually all three. Years ago, many years ago, the directors of these agencies kind of pulled together, and so they kind of created the Redland partners. So if you hear someone say Redland partners, it very well could be that they're talking about the DD network partners in our state. I love this slide, this picture. This is from one of our disability awareness days at the Capitol. Will is actually one of our graduates of Partners in Policy Making. But really, the slide is just about, why does this council matter to you? And we, we need your help. We can't be here without you. I encourage you to come and join us. Our next slide, how do you get involved? All of our council meetings, we try to make sure are on Zoom. Join us. Join the conversation, please. You can add us in chat. You can unmute. We want to hear from you. I added this point in just today. Give us your comments on our drafted state plan. And I think in the chat, they're going to put a link for us. So we operate on a 5-year state plan. This one ends this year. And so we have drafted new goals and objectives based on what we heard last year when we did surveys and listening sessions. And so I ask you for your comments. Are we on the right path? Is this going to help us move the needle, to help our families and our individuals with developmental disabilities? Is it going to help move that needle, forward, so that we can all have that good life? Apply for council membership. Let me know if you're interested, and I can get you connected with the governor's office and find the link to the application. Join projects. Join our advisor. There's advisory groups that you can join. There's all sorts of state systems, different boards and committees. You can go on, join partners in policymaking, learn from our self-advocates. Let your child come and hang out with us at YLF. And then our promise, what we want to do and what we work to do is to create those opportunities for you. Hopefully spark that community change, educate our policymakers and our decision makers, and help empower our self-advocates or our persons with lived experience. And then my last slide is just a reminder that we all belong. You belong here. You belong on the council. You belong on boards. If someone's told you not to, don't. You do. You belong here, and we got to have you here. We have to have you at Disability Awareness. Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day on March 23rd from 10 to 2 at the Capitol. We'll have some vendors. We'll have some panels for you to meet policymakers, and we'll help you. If you've never been to the Capitol, tell me, come get me. We'll find your legislators' offices, and if you want me to stand there with you, I'll stand there with you. Just start getting to know who they are. If that makes you kind of go, oh, I can't do that. I get it. I totally do. For some reason, it still makes me anxious. But if we're there together, there's power in numbers, right? You belong. You belong at the Capitol. You belong there. And you belong on our council. I think that's it. Oh, yep. Is that it? Yes, that's it. Boom, boom. Or stop share so I can see everybody now.
I popped the information about the Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day at the Capitol in the chat. Thank you so much, Jen. I've learned a lot. Does anybody have any other questions that they would like to pose to Ms. Jen, who has a wealth of knowledge, or to any of the partners who spoke, Beth or Carrie?
Thanks, Beth. Give Aaron a hug for me. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, right. Yes. Oh. I know that joke. Well, again, just yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to educate us. And I'm gonna have my son work on that application for the YLF, and I think it'd be something he really enjoy. So I'm gonna thank you again for coming. I'm gonna stop this recording. Okay, boop.